Ijele, are you a masquerade? This is Ezemo here to go down. Once again, I'm out here to talk about what has been holding us back, what has been distracting us, what has been frustrating us. If you've not listened to what I've said in recent times, I think today you need to pay attention. It will help you a lot. And do me a favor. Do me a favor. Share this message. Share this message. Share this message. If there is anything that will liberate our people, if there is anything that will bring freedom, that will free our mind, that will free our... It is this message. Because I'm going to hold the bull by the horn, and I'm going to touch where I need to touch, so that everything that needs to be shaken will be shaken off. So we're going to go in, and like I said focus. This is it. It's all what it's all about. Now I'm going to come to you because I want to do this in English because it's very important. It's very important. The problem we have is collective. It's not just the Igbo race. The whole black people are entangled in this. Now I want to say something to you. People are being misled because they have allowed themselves to be misled. Now, there is something about deception. Those that play the game of deceit don't just do it alone. You help them in deceiving yourself. They will set out to deceive you by planting 35% of what they are going to use to deceive you. But the rest of the 65% is going to be done by you. How do I mean? I will explain to you. But before I go into that, I'm going to show you a clip. Now, if I show you a clip, I will use that clip to illustrate and tell you what I mean. This is why many of our people are still in the church today. This is the reason why many of our people are being misled by the so-called politicians or systems that they are using to govern us, whether it is the educational system, whether it is the political system, whether it is the monetary system. Whatever it is, every system that has kept us in bondage, this is why. This is just the simple reason why our people cannot see through the lens of reality or truth. Now, I'm going to show you a clip. That is why I want you to come with me. I'm going to show you a clip. This clip is a magical clip, but there is nothing to magic. 99% of the magics done are just tricks. Now, watch this clip very carefully. Watch this clip very carefully. You are seeing someone that is pretending to be a magician, but they showed you the trick behind it. Look at it. One is bottled, the other one is not bottled. So these things are being prepared. I want to bring you to why the white man is still holding you and your people bondage. Because they say the more you look, the less you see. So how do you look? Looking is not focused. Now he has this lady now happened to be his target, his client, just like as Africans are target to the Europeans. Now watch what he's going to do. What he's doing. He's keeping her attention and her focus on the bottle. On the bottle. And there is a reason why. Because that bottle is the main key for distraction. But watch how he's going to do it. Yeah. Now, there is a reason why. He is keeping her focus on the bottle. But watch how he's going to take away the bottle from her while she's still watching the bottle. he's going to take that bottle away and replace it with a plastic. She's still watching the bottle. Now, he will now introduce a distraction, something that will keep her busy while he takes the bottle away. But then he can't do it except he comes to her in a friendly form. So he has to be as friendly as he can. You see, he has come close to her, he's advising her, so the bottle has been removed while he's doing the advice, and then he has picked up the plastic bottle. See, he has changed the bottle. So if she thought he was helping her to prepare the paper, but the idea for coming close was to distract her so that he will remove the bottle and bring in the plastic. You see, yeah, the magic has been done. So all these ones they are not doing now is a demonstration to convince her that actually there was a magic. You saw how he removed the bottle. When he came close to her, he has to be close to her to remove the bottle. So now the work is done. Now I'm going to relate this. You ask yourself, how does, you see, to her it's a wonderful thing, but it's a trick. So how does this relate to what is happening to us? You understand? So look at it. He didn't play the game alone. Somebody was behind her. Somebody was assisting the man. Somebody was doing everything. But she was only seeing the man and seeing the bottle. So she did not know what happened behind her back and what has been happening behind her. So to her, the focus was on the bottle. They got her attention to the bottle and they used the bottle to play the trick. You understand? She's even confused. She's still confused. And this is why Africans are still where they are today. Because what you are focusing on is what they want you to focus on. The main thing is happening where your eyes have not been able to reach. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to pause this and then we'll talk. Because I want us to see things. Because when we talk, many of you don't understand the angle we are coming from. The angle we are coming from. Now, some of you will be saying, how can somebody say Christianity is this? Christianity is the worst thing that has ever happened to us as a people. Christianity has nothing to offer you, neither in this world or in the world to come. But you don't understand because they made you, they focused your attention on certain things. The center of Christianity, which they said is Christ the Savior, or the God of the Bible. Now, you've not taken time to look through the Bible and understand the characters of this God or this Christ that they portray. People overlook certain things because they want you to focus on that which they want you to focus. If you go to the churches, you will see find out that what I say we because when I was in the church, I was also preaching. What so-called preachers preach in the church has absolutely nothing to do with the Bible. Now, they tell you about certain morals that the Bible itself does not uphold. Now, if you remember, there was a time in the Bible, a scripture where they talked about a woman that came to Jesus for healing, and Jesus addressed her as if she was a dog. And then the preachers will always give you reasons why Jesus called her a dog, because he later answered her. But you and I know that is an insult. It was very rude. You understand? But they try to present certain things as if some people have the right to talk down on others, and then we see it as a normal thing that he's supposed to talk down on this person, and then another person has no right to talk down on another person. So some people have right to misbehave, while others don't have such right to misbehave. So why is it not an offense for the so-called character that leads or that portrays the image of a particular belief system to be rude and harsh, and we look at it as if all is well because he is the one that is being rude, he is the one that is being silly, he is also the one that is being aggressive. He insulted the elders at the synagogue and called them group of vipers, called them names. He insulted a woman that came for need, because she is not an Israelite or whatever. So at the end of the day, for us, all these things are nice. Why? Because of the kind of image they have already, portrayed before us. They have established before us, and we welcomed it. And this is what it's all about. Now, this is part of what this distraction is. The Europeans have given you the impression that without them, you wouldn't have been where you are today. Maybe you would have been uncivilized. So we brought you civilization, and we have right to tell you how to live, when to die, and when to live. Now, for us as Africans, whatever they do becomes good because we think that they brought us civilization. But then come to think of it, where did civilization start from? It didn't start from Europe. Europe had no idea of what civilization is. What they did was that they led the industrial age. They led the industrial age. They did not start any civilization. Civilization started in Egypt. They never started any civilization. They led the industrial age. But you and I are still giving them credit today, even for what they are not doing. Today, now, we are in the era of electronics, computer system, IT services. Now, it has nothing to do with Europe. Europe are struggling to be in line. We know that Asia has taken the lead. Asia has taken the lead. You talk about India, you talk about Japan, you talk about China. Asia has taken the lead. There is nothing happening in Europe. Europe is just trying to, fit in. So we know that Asia has taken the lead, but today we are still giving Europeans credit. Credit for what? For what they have not done. Now, they have brought a system to you that makes you always feel inferior, feel that you are indebted to them. That is why our people don't understand when we say that this coronavirus was a setup. Everything that these people have done so far is to keep themselves relevant by creating certain platforms that generate propagandas, keeping themselves relevant. How do they do it? Removing your eyes from where your eyes are supposed to be and allowing you to focus on certain things. We focus on everything that comes from Europe. Even if it's not done by them, we give them credit because we have seen them as the savior of the world. So when they created a sickness, and the same people that created the same sickness are now bringing for you what they feel is cure for the same sickness. And to you, it's like they have done wonderful. Many of our people have gone to take this injection without understanding the implications. Something that have not been confirmed by your own scientists. We all have scientists. We all have physicians. We all have chemist departments in every country. Our own people have not confirmed this thing that they're giving to us because we don't have people to confirm it. We have an educational system that only allows people to know what they are taught. It does not give room for people to go extra miles to discover certain things on their own, to make discoveries. No, we have people who are graduates, but they are all working under the same. Nobody has ever. Memorize certain things that they are taught, and that is the only thing they can do. The best they can do is to come up. Yes, when I was in school, they wrote it in this book that it has to be like this, that this has to be. You, as a person, they've developed you to a level that you need to go extra mile and then go out of the norm and then enter into areas that nobody has entered before. Discover certain things new for yourself. You've not. So our people are depending on these people, and that is why they keep doing us what they are doing us, because they know that we've not grown. We are like children. We are depending on them. Every story they told us we uphold. Every story they told us we uphold. Ranging from whether it is in health issues, we uphold every story. Every story. Till date, what we use when we have headache is still Panadol. It's still Fensic. Because that was what they introduced to us. That is what they have told us. We've never for once tried to go back and look at what our forefathers left before these people came. How were they able to cure headaches? How were they able to deal with pains, internal pains? No. Our focus, and that is what we are promoting. Every place we go, you see chemist stores everywhere. You don't see herb shops. They are hard to be found. We are promoting what they have. But every country is trying to find out, outside the African continent, every other country is trying to find out how they can use their own resources, their local resources, their local product, their local plants, and the local natural resources, and heal themselves and heal their land of whatever their need be. But no, we are not doing that in Africa. What we are depending on imported things. We are depending on things because that was what we are introduced to, and our focus is on that. But we forget that these people are using most of this system to keep us in bondage. That is why we are where we are today. So when you talk about religion, The only thing we know is that the only book we have ever read, and they told us is the book of truth. The only book that does not lie is the Bible. And we uphold the Bible as if nothing else works. But people have used the Bible to swear, enter into an office, embezzle money, and nothing has happened to them. And that is not enough to tell us that this Bible is weak. It's as weak as this particular ruler I'm holding in my hand. The Bible is weak. It has nothing to offer you. The Quran that you think that if somebody tells Quran, hey, the person has insulted Allah, then you want to kill the man. That Quran you are fighting for. Why can't the Quran fight for itself? That shows you that the Quran cannot do nothing. So, but we defile the very author that has the power to act. We defy the very shrines that our ancestors left for us that really has the power to act. But then we see it as an offense if somebody goes to the church and maybe messes up. We say he messes up in the church. What is the church? The church is a building. The church is a building. People mess up in all the buildings. The church is like every other building. But the church is a place that people gather to be deceived. That is what makes it different. It's a place of deception. So why is it that we don't understand these things and we don't want to know? That these people have given us a system that does not allow us to know that we are being fooled. We are the ones fooling ourselves because we build so many things up with our own imagination. They just put something in the center and then we will start doing the imagination ourselves. Look at that woman. Look at that woman. She was ready. She was ready. She wanted to see what the guy would do. But he made her focus on the bottle. And when he saw that her attention was fully focused on the bottle, what did he do? He came close, won her trust, and removed the bottle and replaced it with a plastic. And this is what these people do to us. They train our own very people. Our own people. Teach them what they want them to know. Make them feel good as if they are something. That is why you hear professors, you hear doctors. And at the end of the day, there is nothing in their head. Could we imagine that the Igbo clan, we are having a section of where they want to select their leaders? And there was a problem, according to some of them that were involved in that recent election. And you won't even believe it that somebody from these elders of Igbo people that say that this is an Igbo Cultural Social Association suggested, and they were even thinking of it, how they could hand over the governorship of the association and to a Christian association, and then allow them to run it for 2 months, and what they themselves will conduct an election. I want you to know how silly most of these our elders are, how their brain is not working. Have you ever had where in England an organization, I'm not even talking about the English parliament, an organization will call an African country to come and oversee their affairs and even help them conduct an election? It's only we Africans that invite people from outside because we're stupid. We have no value, and yet we still want these people to respect us. How can they respect you? When you tell them from every of your action, from every of your decision, from everything you do, that you as a person have nothing to offer, that you don't even believe that you have what it takes to take your own decision and make your own decision and work on it. What has Christianity or Christian Association of Nigeria, what have they to do with Igbo culture and tradition? It's an insult to the Igbo clan. It's an insult to the whole Igbos in general. For the fact that there are Igbos who are Christians, is not enough for them to spit on our face as Igbos. You are giving Khan, or you are suggesting that Khan should oversee the running of Ohaneze Ndigbo for 2 months and then conduct election. What does that mean? It means that in the whole of Igbo land, there is no single person that is a traditionalist that has what it takes to handle any disagreement. It means that you have no value for our culture. You call yourself social and cultural organization. That is rubbish. You don't even know the meaning. And you have professors, you have doctors who claim that they studied whatever they studied, and they don't understand what it means to be a social and cultural organization. What has CAN, I repeat, what has CAN got to do with Igbo culture? You look at people, you say, these people are confused. These people are confused. You know, initially, I know that we have elders who are bad, but if you look at them, you see that these elders are confused. They don't even know what they are. They don't even know their position. So I keep wondering. I say, how can we allow these people to keep leading the affairs of us, our own affairs, the affairs of these lands? The whole Africa is in trouble because we have elders who are not just that they are blind. Their brain is no longer functioning because everybody is looking for what to grab, what to eat. Everybody is looking for what to grab, what to eat. And that is why when you talk about the church, everybody says, leave the church alone, leave the church alone, leave the church alone, the church alone. That is the most stupid thing I've ever had. For you to open mouth and tell me that the church has nothing to do with what is happening to us. The church brought us to where we are today. The church is what they are using to hold us down. That is why we have people who have the money, the capacity to build mega churches. Billions and billions of funds that they will use to build mega churches, but they don't invest a single dime in factories. How much more talking about building mega factories or things that will generate fund? We are a wasted people because the people who are in the head of affairs are after things that are irrelevant. Things that makes no sense, things that has no meaning, just because we were taught and told that we should not value the things of this world, that we should focus on the things of the world that is to come. You've not done well in the world that you are in, and then you are hoping to do well in the world that you have not even entered. You don't know whether you will enter or not, whether the world exists or not. Is that not foolishness? Is that not foolishness? How can a man be? You are not sure of where you will be. You have clothes. You don't want to wear them until you travel out. And you don't know whether you will travel out. There are so many people I know that have, for the past 30 years, that they told that they were going to take them to abroad. They will travel from Africa to abroad. Up till now, they have not stepped an inch. And I'm not sure they're going to leave the shores of Africa. You cannot mortgage your existing life with a life that a hope that is coming that has not yet come. We need to begin to realize that every decision we make against where we are at the moment is going to affect that place that we are hoping that we will be tomorrow. We must understand that. We must surely understand that. And that is why many of us are still in church. Many people are afraid that if they leave the church, rapture will happen and they will go to hell. Many of them are afraid that if they leave the church, their friends will leave them. That the church today will represent the church to them represents a place of breakthrough. So they don't want to leave the church. How do it translate to a place of breakthrough? Now, because their friends and families are there, connection for them is all it is. Now I keep asking myself one question. Or in any place in Africa, are they not the same people that speak the same language that go to these churches? Now, I say, I've asked this question and nobody has answered me. Who has the church helped? Who has the church helped? Now, if you sit down and calculate what has gone out of you into the church and what has come from the church into you, you will now realize that you've not only lost, but you are a big time loser. I'm not saying that people should not contribute to their local churches, because that is what you have chosen. You've chosen to be fooled. You've chosen to be deceived. That is your problem. But all I'm saying is this. The church has and will always remain the problem that we have in this part of the world. The problem that we have in Africa. The church has and will always, just like as politics, in its nature and in its form, has always and will always remain part of our problem. Just as the monetary system has and will always remain part of our problem. The church has also remained a major issue, a big distraction, a frustrating factor, an instrument of cage in us or in our land. It is the church that they use in weakening our people. If you guys remember, there was a time they did end SARS in Nigeria. And I made a comment because I saw the direction it was going. I made a comment. I told them that so far that what they are doing is well heard and understood. And I believe that they have, gotten the attention of the government. And I told them not to be sentimental about it. That it has to be business. That they should remove everything religion from it. That they should not allow church to hijack it. Because if they do, that thing will fail. Many of the places, people began to gather and they started praying and they started singing praises, Christian praises and whatever. And then those who were in some areas also were like doing the Muslim thing. What happened? It didn't reach up to 4 days and the whole thing collapsed. That is the biggest mistake we make as a people. You cannot bring in something that has never worked for you for it to work all of a sudden. A woman came to me and I was trying to, I was doing something for her. But there was something she said that really made me look at her and I understand how silly and senseless our people have become. So I was working for her and we began to talk. It's on the issue of childbearing. So we began to talk about names, that in case if the child should come, the name that she was going to give to the child. So I said the name. She said, no, if she gives this child this name, that they will not accept the name if she takes the child to the church to go and do child dedication. And I asked her, I said, what are you going to dedicate in the church for? He said she has to go and do dedication now. A church that could not give you a child. And you came to me that is not in the church, so that the gods that we serve cannot help you to get barren. And then all of a sudden you will take the child again to go and dedicate to a God that has no capacity to make you conceive. You see how stupid we can be. It doesn't make any sense. So if you look at what she's saying is senseless. It doesn't make any sense. How can you take a child that you got from somewhere to go and dedicate to a God that could not give you the child? How do you think that same God that could not give you the power to conceive will also protect and guide the child? You see how deep this foolishness has eaten into our people? Because we must get the church involved. Whether the church played a role in what we got. That is why you will go give drinks to an elder in your village and they will bless you and pronounce the blessings of the ancestors on you. And you go out, you succeed. You now go to a church to give thanksgiving. So we are not reasoning like people. We are behaving like children. People that it is based on this that the so-called elders of Ohanes and Igbo is suggesting that the Christian Association of Nigeria, the Eastern Branch, are the ones that are supposed to conduct an election for them, a credible election for them. You will see that this absent-minded, this senseless thought is not only limited to the youths. It has also eaten deep into our elders. Not just elders that claim that they are educated, that went to the best universities, so acclaimed in the world. So this also have eaten into this. They are not even sure of themselves. They are not even sure of the formation, of the cultural formation of Igbo land. They are not even sure of Ndenze and also. They are not sure of Ndeze Mon and Ndeze Dibia. They are not sure of Ndeze. It is only Khan, a group of bishops and pastors, a group of so acclaimed Christian leaders that can really do something that will benefit Igbo land. And I have not seen anything that they have done. The only thing the church have done in Igbo land is to take our land free. Even when we want to bury our own people in a land that we have given to them, we have to pay for them to give them a portion to bury our people in that cemetery. Even though we gave them land free, people, if you have not made any contribution, that same church will not. These same people are the only people we can trust that they will make decisions that will favor us. Is that not madness? Is that not stupidity? I had it as an Igbo man. I know that many of them, I may not even reach up to their children, but I had it, and as an Igbo man, I felt insulted. I've never been that disappointed in my life before. I felt insulted as an Igbo man for a body that called themselves a general body of Igbo clan to rise up and say that it is only Khan, or even the thought of it alone, you sound stupid. How much more for somebody to voice it out? That it is only Khan that has the capacity. I don't care what the idea is. I don't care the motive behind it. It's stupid. For you to suggest that it's only a foreign organization that has the capacity to address an issue that is happening in Igbo community is an insult. It is an insult to Igbo clan. It is an insult to the whole Igbos in general. As if that was not enough, they went ahead and did the election. And then if you sit down and watch what they call you start asking yourself, from the beginning of the so-called stupid organization thing they organized to the end, everything was like as if they were insulting the Igbos. The man that conducted the something, I don't know where he came from. Whether they brought him from outside Nigeria, I don't know where he came from. The language he spoke was English language. I keep asking myself, is this Ohanese social cultural group, is it representing the whole Nigeria, or is it meant for the Igbos and Igbos alone? Because we Igbos will have our language. And I was wondering the ration or the reason behind such an organization conducting whatever they are doing in English language. Is stupid. It's not just silly, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So why are we calling ourselves a clan if our language has been thrown into the dustbin? This is the first thing they did. Secondly, according to Igbo culture and tradition, there is a way that leaders are being selected. So what happened to that system? You see, these people are not just only senseless. These are cunning men, craftsmen that want to keep feeding on the poor masses because they have nothing to offer Igbo land. They know nothing at all. They don't even understand themselves. So how can they offer something to Igbo land? And it is because of this reason that I decided to do this program in English language. Since they want to speak English, let us expose ourselves and let the world see our nakedness. These men are a bunch of disgrace. I'm telling you. Ndị be anyị okenye a na-ebu ahụ na-ada aparị, but ndị a bụ ma isi awọ ma ha ọnụ white na-ezuzu na-eme eri. I've had so many things that has been happening in Igbo land. This is the worst, the height of it. This is the height of it. I took my time and I followed that election from the beginning to the end. And I saw nothing but disrespect for our clan, disrespect for culture, no regard, nothing. I saw a callous and careless people that call themselves elders. I was disappointed. And I even saw in their lineup, I saw a bishop that was standing. I did not see any Ezemo. These people are not Igbo people. These are fake people. They are not Igbos. They are not representing any Igbo. We are watching them. From now on, we are going to be watching them. You can't just wake up and you jump out and you say you are this, you are that. You are claiming what you are not. You have to, if you are claiming something, you have to live up to it. The days you people have been lying and deceiving us have gone. We are no longer going to take any shit from any of you. We, Ogomo people, we have woken up. Because you have tried your best to destroy the land that our fathers left for us, and we will not allow you. We will not allow you. We have woken up. Any nonsense from any group, hey, we will rush you. Any nonsense from any group, we will rush you. Days are gone when you people are using, you've used Igbo land as a place of nonsense. We will not allow it again. We've seen that you guys have you won't change. But wickedness, evil runs in your blood, but it has to be on your head. It will not allow you to pollute our land again. We have had enough. We have expected that you people will reason, understand that the future of our children and their unborn children are at stake. But no, it's all about what you will get. So you can do anything at any cost to make sure that you get that thing you want to get. It's about you and what you will make. No. We will not take it. We will not take it. The only thing they did it was like as if we are people that are being remote controlled are doing something. You call yourself representative from Delta State, representative from Anambra State, from Enugu State, from Abia State, from Imo State. Rubbish. Who are you representing? Representative, and you know your left and your right. The program was conducted in English. That was the first and the highest insult. What is English? What is English? It's a language. You think because you speak English that makes you educated? Go to France and then you find out whether English language is accepted in France. Because if you don't know French, if you don't know French, you cannot work in any office in France. No matter your level, if you know your English and know your French, it's an advantage. But if you don't know French, you will not work in any office in France. Or go to any African French-speaking country. Because you speak English. That gave you the audacity to use English to conduct what we are doing in Igbo land when you are talking to Igbos. Is that not stupid? How stupid can that be? The whole thing they did was nonsense. People that are not listening into what they are doing. What are we leaving for our children? These things are going to be on record. How do you not claim that Igbo is what kind of nonsense tribe it is that doesn't have a language? We can say when Nigerians are doing something, we speak English for everyone to understand us. But Nigeria itself should be ashamed of itself because people are supposed to have a common language. Ghana does. How much more when you are doing something in a place that there is a common language that everybody can understand? It doesn't matter the dialect you speak. At least more than half of the people in that place will understand what you're saying. No. You have to use English language to address a people you call your own people. What? How do we look English to you? And you call yourself an elder? You call yourself an elder. Well, gray hair does not mean wisdom. Old age does not translate to knowledge. It does not. Now I know. It does not. I don't want to sound insulting, but there's no way you can address this issue without being raw. Because these people does not want to wake up. We have elders that they don't want to know that they are elders. They don't want to feel that sense of being responsible for once. Everybody is doing whatever they think will benefit them and their children. That is why they will go there with corruption. They will steal everything because they are stealing for themselves and they are stealing for their children. And you have children that are not even useful. Because the gods of the land are dealing with you. The gods of the land are dealing with you. They will not let you go free. So that's why if you still all finish, your children will end up being useless. It's a very simple thing. Keep your hands clean. And then you will see how your own children will prosper because you mean well for other people's children. No, we have elders that are not even looking at that direction. All they want is, let me get what I want. If it's not cash, it is power or fame at the expenses of others. Now, in your mind, in your mind, you feel that it is Khan. It is Khan, a group of bishops and pastors that will sit down and take decisions that will favor Igbo land. I rest my case. Honestly, I do. These people are impossible. I've never seen anything like that before. I've never seen it. Many of us are outside here. Even we say Europeans are one. But let me tell you something. Where I stay in Europe, there is no way the community will be doing anything, and they even invite another community to sit at the committee that will conduct that thing or that will do that thing. It is the same community that will bring people that... What is wrong with us? This is something that our forefathers taught us. That is why if you come to Igbo land, you have Igbo. We build our places in communities. In communities. That is why if you come to every community, you cannot be a member of Eze's cabinet or be Onyenze or also in that community. That is not your own community. They may give you a chieftaincy title because they don't want you to come into the body of decision making. Because the decision they are making is what that will help their community to grow. Then how do you now bring people that have foreign ideology into what you are deciding to establish, whether it is a project or whatever, what you are deciding to execute for Igbo or in Igbo land? That is madness of the highest order. It sounds so far away. For we as Igbos to have it. I don't care whether the president of Khan is an Igbo man. For the fact he's a member, a Christian community member, makes him a foreigner or a bastard. For the fact that he does not believe in the ideology and philosophy of his fathers means that he has sold out. So whatever we are doing in Igbo land, he should be outside, not inside. You come to where they are doing Igbo ceremony or Fala, you will see a bishop there. What are they doing there? He can come in as a guest, sit where guests are supposed to sit. He has no right to be where the head is or where they are praying. If you come to a Fala, they will say, let bishop and pastor pray for us. These are stupid things that Igbo people do that does not make any sense. In most communities that are reasonable, you don't do that. I live in Europe here, I live in Spain. There are certain things they will start doing. No bishop, no pastor will come and pray. They have their own shrines here. These people are also, they have their own belief system. Apart from the Christianity you think they are. Yes, Spain is a Christian nation, but there are certain things they do. It is indigenous. It is people that have certain positions spiritually in what they believe that will come out and do what they are supposed to do and go. It has nothing to do with any father or any bishop. But in your place, you will invite the bishop. The bishop has to pray. It's rubbish. They are doing a traditional wedding. Bishop has to pray. These are nonsense. This is rubbish. It shows that we are stupid in our thinking. Because we want to center everything we are doing. You say you have to commit all to God. Which God? Your own God or their God? Because the truth of the matter is that every community has the force that created them. What established Africa is not what established Europe. What the Europeans brought to you is the God that they believe in. And you try to make that God at the center of everything you do. And that is why you are an embodiment of failure. There is nothing you have done that have ever succeeded. And you have not sat down to ask yourself, why is it that I'm not successful? But these people are. It's because when they do, they commit it into the hand of their own God. When you do, you commit whatever you are doing into the hand of their own God, not your own God. And the forces of the land where you live will fight against you and against the forces that you are trying to introduce, which have no time to look at you. And then to you, you think you are doing well. To you, you don't even understand that you are the one creating your problem. You are the very problem that you have. Because you are blind, you are short-sighted. You cannot reason deep. You are the very problem that you have. You are your own problem. You are your own problem. Many of you are wondering, why is it that we are not doing well in Africa because of so many reasons. And these reasons are very simple. It has a lot to do with what has come to stay with us. Just imagine, look at us. We have. If you look at the academic records, you will see that we have brilliant people. But how come they end up not being useful to the society? I will tell you how. How they end up not being useful to the society is that they are not taught to be productive. They are not taught to be productive. The only thing is you have to study to pass your exams and pass out from the school, pass well, have a good result. So what do you produce? The only people who are like they are doing well are those who are in the secretary field, like for example, bankers, people who deal with files and who are focusing on writing. But what about those who are in areas that you have to generate, produce certain things? No, they are not doing well because our people are taught to memorize. Remember this. They remember it. Now, most of these things has a lot to do with documents. What is it? Nigeria was, formed in the year 1914. Lagos is the capital. These are the records that you have. You have to be accurate on those records. But nobody has ever told you how you will go deep and find out what Lagos is all about. The kind of things that one can produce from Lagos. Nobody has ever taught you, okay, we have different soups in Igbo land, or let me say in Nigeria as a whole, or in Africa. Now, these soups, what is the benefit of these foods? No, we still need the white people to come and tell us that Okazi soup can cure cancer, or cure diabetes. We need the white man to come and tell us that Olubu soup is good for immune system. They will still the one that will do investigation to tell us, but today we have people that have studied and understand these things. They know a lot of them, but nobody has taught them. Is because they will stop wherever the teaching has stopped. They can't go further. They are not taught how to go deeper on their own, to do certain research on their own and find out how useful most of these things will be for us. No, we are created and taught to depend. So we think to depend on these people for solution. So they become our last resort. That is why no man in Africa that calls himself a leader is having or nursing the feeling of having a medical system whereby all Africans can run to. No. They have saved enough money that once they are sick or any of their own is sick, they will fly them abroad to go and treat them. Because they don't believe in going deep to make themselves relevant and become useful in that particular area. No. We have to depend on these people. We are good enough to tell stories, but we have to depend on these people when it comes to what, or maybe when it comes to serious matters. So how do you now want a man? And in those hospitals, the funny thing is that in those hospitals, it is still our own sons and daughters that are doing the wonderful work there. But we can't organize ourselves. Must we always rely on foreign ideas to solve our problem? I keep asking. Today, it is a common thing for you to hear that a woman has killed her husband, or a woman has poured hot water on her husband. Why? Because when these people came with the idea of one man, one wife, we embraced it. We say, yes, it's good. It is a way of giving women equality. Every culture have a way they live, a way they show respect and a way they understand respect. And let me tell you something that will shock you. Women are not respected more in the West than in respected more in the West than any other place in the world. Go and do your research. I quote you. Have you ever asked yourself the reason why they do Halloween? What is Halloween all about? Go and check. There was a time, 6 million, within a period of time, 6 million women were killed for no just reason. Why? Is either because she started doing, she was a carpenter or a bricklayer. If they find a woman doing anything a man can do, they will kill her. They will label her a witch. If they find a woman that has some mystic powers, she will be killed. A woman that wants to take the position of a man will be killed. So many women, both small girls, young girls, little girls, baby girls, and the women that have grown, we are killed. Over 6 million of them. The same time, that is it Mary Celeste or whatever, I don't know what they are calling the prostitute, that she stopped the killing of twins was the time that Europeans were busy killing their women. And nobody told you of that. Nobody campaigned of it. They were busy killing their women, but they turned around and said in Igbo land, not even in Africa, that they were killing twins. Now, I have always asked this question. It took the missionaries, even up to date. They came before the so-called prostitute, anyway. Even up to date, it is still taking them time to conquer the whole of Igbo land. But it took this woman a night with a lantern to go around Igbo land and stop the killing of twins. Is that not stupid? For any man to even imagine or nurse the feeling of believing that kind of story that you can tell to a 1-year-old child, not even a 2-year-old, because the 2-year-old will ask you some questions. A 1-year-old child, and the child will be laughing and looking at you like this because he doesn't understand what you are saying. How can you say that a woman stopped the killing of twins? It took a woman and a lantern. It took a woman and a lantern to stop the killing of twins in a whole place. When these people were busy, which moral does she have? What does she know about saving life? When her people were busy, at that same time you are talking this rubbish, they were killing women. Over 6 million women has been killed in Europe. And that is what they celebrate when they celebrate the Halloween. Because they wasted their women. They labeled them witches and killed them. This we have not done in Africa. Why? And you know, at times when people say this, it shows you how ignorant they are about the Igbo culture, about the Igbos. That many things are happening, and that we've come to meet them does not mean that they were like that before. The Igbo community, there is no community you don't see bad people, or you don't come to a place where there are one or two bad incidents occur. But the fact still remains that Igbos has a name for twins, and which is Ejima. Now, the name Ejima, does it sound like something that is evil? Because if Ejima is an evil something in Igbo land, then the name would have been associated with evil. Because we know that evil means Ojo, Njo. Now, this is Ejima. Ejima means Ijike, Gamanake. Something that defines the order. Identical. And it doesn't sound evil because it is not evil. It has never been. These people gave us stories, and it is very wrong for us up to date to still depend on the story of these people to judge our land. We are making a mistake. There is a wise saying that's normally said that until the lion tells his own side of the story, the hunter's story will always be glorified. And that is what we are doing. Every book that has been written, even the one that books that people that call themselves our own people wrote, they wrote it in favor of this people's story. If we have not had researchers who are sincere, who did not stop at anything, who went deeper and started asking questions, most of these truths won't be coming out. Most of these platforms will not be coming out for us to be able to investigate certain stories. So there is no story these people, with what I know today, with the evidence I have, there is no story told by these people that they did not flog it with lies. No story told by these people that they did not flog it with lies. And that is why it is difficult for people like you to hear the real stories and believe them. Because the lies has overtaken everything. There is no story told by these people that they did not flog it with lies. Because they told you what they wanted you to hear. Because it's not about the story. It's about where they are going. And that is where we are today now. Because the target was there for them to control the world. And the only way a man can make you to submit to him is to give you the impression that your people are corrupt. Your people are evil. We are good. Most of you who are in Nigeria will understand that this is the system that the Fulanis are using. When people campaign for election, they will tell that the previous government, if they want you to vote them out, is evil and that they are good. The same thing, it's just the same, it's the same system. They give you the impression that the religion you have, the belief system you have, everything you have is evil. So drop them and take my own. And the moment you drop your own and take their own, you've submitted. That is the target. That is where they are going to. That is the main reason for convincing you. Is for you to feel there is nothing good about what you had before this new thing was introduced to you. If you are using a cream, now let me ask you, if you're using a cream and and somebody wants to market a cream to you, and then he asks you which cream do you use? You tell him the name of the cream you are using. And then the person looks at it and says, okay, this your cream is good, but this one is better. He can never say that your own is better than the one he's selling. So he will try to give you reasons. He will now start looking for, because nothing is perfect. He will now start looking for loopholes. And once he sees one, he will not capitalize on that and say, you see, this one, this in this. But this one is better in this way. Before you know it, you will be convinced and then you buy the cream. That was what these people did. When they came, they knew we had they are not the ones that taught us that there is a creator. We understand it, and we understand the creator in our own language. We have our system of communicating with the spirits. And it is better than what they have. But they did everything they can do because they packaged their own already in a book. And they were ready to sell. So they have to convince us that what we had was not just only rough, but evil, and it is not helping. So our people now was debating. So the ones that would have stood against them, they eliminated them. So the ones they saw that they were soft-hearted, they rewarded them and gave them positions. So that was what actually, and many people, people being greedy and people, people, especially people who are ignorant of who they are and what they should want in life. So many of them now have to come in, just like what the churches are doing today. You understand? So people have seen it as a place of, bettering their life. You will see somebody, you ask the person, so what has this church done for you? Among 100 people, maybe out of one person has been able to break through by the church robbing those 99 others. And then that one person can always tell you that I have a testimony. If they don't have, I have a testimony. So you would think that something is happening. Nothing is happening. This is what these white people did. They selected a few do well amongst us and enhanced their life, improved their life. And then it was an attraction. It's just what they do. It's an attraction. But look at it, you see that every problem that has existed today, forget about the stories we are talking about, the things that happened in the past. But what is happening now, every problem that has existed today, check in all of them, in every country, in every continent, you will see that there is no one that the hand of the West that is not involved. Their hand will be involved in creating the problem. Their hand will also be involved in solving the problem. So there is something they are gaining. You understand? By creating the problem and solving the problem, they are gaining a lot. They don't want anybody to be settled. They don't want people to be relaxed. They don't want people to have the best of time. So they have this way of creating. When you people look as if you're focusing, you want to understand what life is and you want to understand how to come out of it, they will create confusion. Once they create confusion, they will come in to solve the confusion. So they've given you distraction. So if you had that focus for a long time, you've lost focus again. And at the end of the day, what happens? You will start, looking for a way to reorganize yourself, reposition yourself again. And this is what they do. They do it day in, day out. And we must understand that. They do it day in, day out. So for a man to wake up and tell you that the Christian community or that the church will be the ones that will bring a problem to an end in Igbo land, shows you that man is either drunk or stupid. Because no reasonable man will bring that suggestion. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make. We have a lot of wise men. Even in fact, the Bible, the scripture, was written based on Igbo proverbs. There is no scripture you will bring out today. I will not tell you the proverb which they created that scripture. All the scriptures they created them using Igbo proverbs to create them. The stories they told you about Jesus was telling, the parable stories, were Igbo proverbs that they used to create stories. So how can you not tell me that people that copied from people will be the ones that will teach us wisdom? Who is the church to handle an affair better than the Omenala traditional people? Who is the church? What do they know? Except what has been written down in that book that they carry up and down. You look at men and women that communicate with the gods, that dine and eat with the spirits, that have divine knowledge, that stay in the place of divinity. You are taking what you should have brought to them. Even the white man called them the wise men. Call them wise men. That's why I say, if you see, the problem is that we don't even understand what a Dibia is. And that is why we look down on Dibia. It's not everybody parading himself as a Dibia is a Dibia. We look down on Dibia. The real Dibias are people of wisdom. Wisdom that is not human. That cannot be fetched in any place. Wisdom that comes from afar. That came from above. You should take your problem to the Dibia and he sits down like as he's supposed to sit down and educate you on how to solve the problem. That is why in those days we have Oswago. People of wisdom. Philosophers. He knows and he understands the system. He understands what is happening around you. And he knows how to provide solution. But no, you want to call Khan. You want to call a bishop just because he's wearing red robe. And then he sits in a congregation and then takes money from people. Then you feel he has the answer to Igbo problem or any problem that is in Igbo land. Honestly, I don't know. I have not come out of the shock. Because for me, it's the highest level of betrayal. For those so-called leaders to even know such a feeling or such a thought in their head, that our problem can be solved at the table of Christianity. What do you take Igbo people for? You think that this is a golf club where anybody can jump in from anywhere just because we have some money to throw around or just because we have some connection? It is bad. But at the end of the day, I mean, you still look at them, the problem is still there because we still have these people that don't even know their left and their right. They are still in leadership just because they have gray hair. Many of them are confused. How do you know an Igbo man that is confused? I will tell you. When you see somebody, he comes with the name Sir. Sir, he's a confused man. He's not an Igbo man. Or you hear Chief, High Chief, he's confused. I'm telling you, he's confused. Now, there are certain titles you hear. Any Igbo man that his name is associated with an English title, first of all, is confused. Because I've never seen a white man that is an Nze or Ozo or even Mazi. I've never seen. So to know an Igbo man that is confused is when you see before his name an English title comes up. Even if it's called Chief Priest, he's a confused man. You understand? That is why you see the Igbo Ezes, before you know his Royal Majesty, His Royal Highness. These are. It doesn't make any sense. You will hear Oni of Ife, Oba of this. What is the royal? Eze, this is enough. Why should so if you don't say His Royal Highness, you will not. They will not know that Eze means a king. These people are mad. The moment they present their name and an English title goes ahead of it, that is to tell you that Igbo man is confused. Or Igbo woman. Tell that she's a queen. She's confused. She doesn't know what she's saying. And Prince Udoka is a confused man. And Princess Ola, she is confused. She is confused. Any Igbo that you see, he puts an English title before him. Don't forget about the translation or the interpretation of that title. That is to show you that this person is confused. That person is as ignorant as anything. An Igbo woman that understands Igbo and understands herself should know that Adeze is more honorable, more real than Princess. An Igbo man that understands something should know that Oparobi or Opanese is more real and strong than Prince. These are confused people parading themselves as leaders of Igbo land. Then how do you expect us to come out of what we are in? How can we come out of what we are in? That is why you see our sons and daughters are telling you that the only religion that is acceptable to them is synagogue and the church. That is Christianity and Judaism. Because the fathers are confused. So why won't the children be confused? Because if you're not confused, your sons and daughters will not be confused. They will understand what it means to anchor in your tradition and culture. They will know that you cannot anchor in your tradition and culture and then your spirituality is foreign. can you be an Eze of a village? You call yourself a leader, and then there is an English name in the. Even if you had an English name before you were crowned, don't somebody go to church and the church will remove your native name and add their own name and give you? So if you had an English name before you were ordained, you crowned as Eze, you should remove that English name. That is part of the initiation. But you are calling yourself a king and you are having a slave name. The meaning of the English name you have, what is the meaning? Is it not what your slave master give you for them to know who enslaved you? That is why when you see people from Nigeria, you know them because they were enslaved by the British people. So what they answer is British name, English name. You go to Togo, you will see people from Togo, they will all be bearing French name because they were enslaved by the French people. So you are answering your slave master's name and you feel you are doing well. We all have it. Even in my document, I have an English name. But I can never present it in any form or in any place. Whatever I'm doing within me now, or whatever I'm doing in my place, it goes with that Igbo name. Why should I put English name to it? That I was small and they used it for my documents means that I'm not. There are certain things that to claim certain things that belongs to me, yes, but it's not something I should be fronting because I'm not proud of it. It's a slave name. But no, we have people who are parading themselves with so many. You think that if you come up with English stuffs and then we will say you are sophisticated for what? Who cares? Do I look like I care? Do you think somebody like me cares whether you if you like you can even speak like people who are living in Buckingham Palace. That is your problem. English is not my language. And they are not trying to correct me when I speak English language because I will have problem with you. Very big problem. I will give you the biggest insult of your life because it has nothing to do with the king in England cannot speak Igbo. So I'm even trying. So at least if they can speak the way I'm speaking their own language, if they can speak my own language in that form, at least they know they have tried. So don't come and tell me rubbish. It's when I speak Igbo language and then I make mistakes and then you correct me, then I'll value your correction. Because I'm supposed to know it. I'm an Igbo man. Likewise, every African state. We have to stop all this nonsense. It's complex. It has absolutely nothing to do with nothing. It's complex. Can we play because somebody can afford to feed himself, then you now call him to be a leader when he has nothing to offer you. There are many of our people who are ready to die defending the way of this particular people. And this is what has kept us in bondage. This particular way. Is it the education system? I have told people there is nothing these people give us. Because if you sit down and study their own structure, the things they have put in place, you will now understand that there is nothing they give us that is meant to help us. And that is why we are suffering destruction even up to date. And many of us don't even know that. Many of us don't know that the reason why we are going through what we are going through is because these people has planned it from the beginning. That they will use these structures that they are creating to frustrate us. Now look at it. We have no place to hide. They have pushed us to a level that they are not dictating for you whether you will be in your household, but somebody will be somewhere thousands of miles away, and then pressing a button whether they should inject you or not. You don't even have a say to your own freedom in your own house, in that home, in that village that you stay in Africa. It's because you gave them the power. It's because when we were shouting, when we were talking about these people, how bad and corny they are, what they came with, nobody believed us because you thought that they've given you heaven and earth because they gave you Christianity. Not knowing that Christianity was designed to destroy you, and that is where you are now today. Forget about this one they are saying that is the mark of the beast. These people wrote a script. We have said it and we keep saying it. Ask yourself, why is it that what is it that we have seen that you people have not seen? This is a script. The Bible is a script that they are being played. It has nothing to do with any prophecy. It's a script. All they know is that they have to follow that script to the end. Just like God asks people that act play. They will give them a script and they will act according to that script. So it's a script that is being played. But the problem is that they never knew that this particular generation will expose so many things. They were not expecting what they have received. But the problem we ourselves have is you people that have refused to understand. Now, a friend of mine called me the other day and said, what thing about the way I talk at times is that I try to force people to accept my belief. It has nothing to do with my belief. What I'm blowing is an alarm. I'm not saying you should believe me. It has nothing to do with my belief. I know we have addressed the issue with me and him. We've talked about. I'm only saying it for those that are not seeing the same kind of thought. I am not forcing you to accept my belief. You don't have to. What I'm telling you is something that at the end of the day, you will see that all I have spoken. I spoke to some people about 4 years ago. And unfortunately for most of them, they never believed me. 3 years later, one of them confirmed that everything I said 4 years ago happened, and then he discovered that I said exactly the truth. It's not about whether you believe me or not. I want to clear my conscience. I want to make sure that I have sent the message out there. What you do with the message is up to you. It's your problem. So because when and then I will have the right, the moral standard to deny you of assisting you because I told you and I warned you beforehand. So I'm saying it not for you to believe me. I'm saying it because let the information be out there so that the words that I have spoken today will stand in judgment against you. When you will say nobody told you, that same word will rise up and say you were told. We are holding ourselves because we have chosen to believe the people more than they presented to us. There is nothing in anything that the white man has given to you. The West gave you what they wanted you to know, what they wanted you to hear. And you have reacted the way they anticipated that you are going to react. And that is why they are holding you in ransom. These people that gave you everything, mind you, they have no single mineral resources. But they have the most wonderful place, most organized place. And they are the ones giving you aids. When you are richer than them, literally you are richer than them. By nature, by resources, both human and mineral resources, you are richer than them. But yet, they are the same people giving you aids. Now, from the much they are collecting from you yearly, not even daily, not even in the past, they are still collecting up to date. From the much they are collecting from you, they are giving you a peanut. Just like when you cook your food, somebody will come and carry your pot of food. And then dish out, not even a full plate, small saucer, small little plate. Give you little and say, go and share. Hey, you say, this man has given me food. Food you cooked. Food is your food. You bought the things, you bought the ingredients, you cook the food. Time is your own. The pot is your own. The fire they use in cooking the food is your own. He just gave you something out of your food and he went and ate your food and you are still bowing to the man. And people are trying to call you to order and you refuse to see reasons and reason with them. It's just because you are being stupid. You are the one misleading yourself. You are seeing the truth and you are not believing the truth. You are seeing the truth and you are running away from the truth. How can something happen in US and Iraq and somebody is busy in your so-called God-forsaken continent killing people because of what is happening between US and Iraq or because of what is happening between US and Iran? Are we not stupid people? What has Iran and US got to do with what is in Africa? You will see people killing people in the name of Christianity and Muslim. The problem we have is these religions. We don't need them. The day we separate ourselves from these so-called frustrating lies, this is the day that you will see that a little level of peace will begin to exist among us. Let us deal with our After all, when we start fighting, they will say it's a tribal issue. They will never tell you that their religion is part of our problem. They will always tell that it's a tribal issue. Now, and you believe that it is because this tribe hates this tribe. Now, ask yourself, what is the problem between this tribe and this tribe? You see that one tribe is being dominated by one particular nonsense belief system, and this other one is by one particular nonsense belief system. And when they come, the hatred generates from the belief system, and then we try to target it as a tribal issue. But when they themselves have their own problem, it becomes a world affair. They want you and I to get involved. They want to rope us into that mess so that it will be a collective mess. And everybody, look at the coronavirus. Now it has become a global issue. But when Ebola happened, it was an African issue. When whatever happens in Africa becomes an African issue. So, but once it's happening outside Africa, it becomes a global issue. And nobody is reasoning into this. It's because you think little of yourself and you lift these people high. Because to you, you have no regard or respect of who you are. So, our problem has never been that we cannot come out of what these people has, but it's because we ourselves are the ones deceiving ourselves, believing that there is hope where there is no hope, believing that nothing will happen except we click onto these people, except we believe them, except we accept what they have brought to us. Now let me tell you the truth. Any day we will rise as a people and drop every nonsense that came from the West that has never benefited us, ranging from their belief system, both their education, both their monetary system. Any day we decide to stop even their political structure and create our own structure, that is something that is natural to us. We have a system whereby we can relate to our people, that we can govern our people. Any day we decide to drop those things and we drop them, you see that the kind of peace that will sweep across the breadth and length of Africa will be great. Any day we rise as a people and say, you see this Bible and Quran nonsense, we are done with it. The kind of peace of mind that we will have will be great. I've not even started talking about the way our wisdom will come back. We have lost everything and we are still losing, even the ones that we don't even have. Yet, because of all the foreign ideologies that we have embraced, and our people are not seeing the need for us as a people to denounce these things and then have our freedom. We are not seeing the need. No, we are not. When you talk, somebody will say, you talk too much. You talk too much. Yes, I talk too much because what I have seen or what I'm seeing is not allowing me to keep quiet. Because our people are not reasoning. We have done everything to call their attention to what is happening around us. Now the question is this: if these people choose to kill the whole of Africans, because there are so many rumors that people are hearing, and there are so many conspiracy theories that has been presented, that Africa is the target when it comes to this COVID-19 thing. Now, if they choose to kill our people, if they choose to kill Africans, now I want to ask you, how will you defend yourself? If they compel your government, whom they themselves installed, they are the ones that put every government in Africa, you know it, today where they are. That is why when you are a dictator, they will let you be, as long as they are the ones that put you, except when you now stop dancing to their tune. They will not look for a way to remove you, and that is when they will start complaining that this man is a dictator, this one. All the bad rulers in Africa, all the bad rulers in Africa that you and I know that are in Africa, they are the ones that install them. Now, if these people choose to force these people to inject you with this so-called cure or deadly poison that we suspect that is their way of eliminating Africa or exterminating us, If they choose to inject you with that, what will you do? Where will you run to? Because by that time you will now realize it will be late for you to understand and believe in what we are saying. They don't start whatever they want to do now. They start small, and anything you see these people do, they have projected it for a very long time. They have planned it and they have been working towards it before they will come out and say. But you see, I'm still grateful to the forces of our lands that have kept some people alert and made them not to lose their mind and their knowledge. They are still focused. There are people who still understand this game, irrespective of the fact that majority of our people are ignorant of what is happening around them and also in the life that they claim that they are living. We have people who are still aware that all is not well, who are still aware that there is a lot of deception, deceit hanging in the air, who are aware of actually what is happening, and they are ready to also help in exposing the facts. So this is a question you should ask yourself. If it's true that these people are going to force everybody to take this injection, what will you do? Or what should you do? Because everything they have been doing is to weaken you as a person, to make you understand that you have no option, you have no choice than to submit to the government that they have selected for you. But it doesn't have to be like that. You have the right whatsoever. It doesn't matter. In any place in the world, go and ask. You have the right to self-defense. You have the right to reject something and to accept. Nobody is supposed to force anything on you. And these were the things that our forefathers taught us, especially in the Igbo clan. That is why in Igbo, there was nothing like, say, this is a king, because the Igbos have never been subjected to become a subject to anybody. Where you have royalty, you have subjects. You have the king's subjects or the queen's subjects. No, it is not so in Igbo land. Everybody in Igbo land is a bona fide citizen. A citizen. That is why they say Ibenweze. So in Igbo land, we are all citizens that have the same right. That you are in the head. That is why the Eze in Igbo language means a priest, somebody that speaks on behalf of the gods, and somebody that also speaks on behalf of the people to the gods. Now, what it means is that you are the channel which we communicate to our gods and also the gods to us. But that does not mean that you have right of life over any other person. You are given respect because of the position you occupy. But nobody is a subject to you. Nobody is a subject. That's why in Igbo they will tell that Onyewuchi is somebody's name. You cannot lord yourself over somebody. You cannot. The only person that you are over is your own family. If you're a man, your wife and your children. But they will respect you in the society because of who you are, because of your position in life. But you are not going to lord yourself over people. My lordship, that is not an Igbo culture. It does not exist in Igbo language. Your lordship is only when a man is dealing with his immediate family, his wives and his children if he has multiple wives, or his wife and his children if he has only one wife. So there is nothing like my lordship or my king. No, these things are nonsense. And that is one thing about this Nollywood. I don't know whether that their own is just to make money. They are creating stories that never existed in Igbo land. And there are so many films that are portraying this king thing as if it has been Igbo culture. The Eze and Igwes came when the white man came. Yes, there are some few communities where we had Obi, but we had Akajofo before these people came anyway. Let me not, generalize. We had Akajofo, people who were in charge of the Ofo of the town. They were in charge of the Ofo. We had Akajofos. We had the Ezemos. It was when these people came, because they needed people to really help what they are doing, to help them conquer the people, to help them oppress the people, to help them rule over the people. They created warrant chiefs out of the Kotimas, because when they came, they created Kotimas, gave them gun, shotgun. So from them, now the leader of the Kotima now, or the man that have actually sponsored the Kotima, or that was close to them, that the Sabo that was selling his people to them, now they now made most of these people warrant chiefs. And it is these same people now they made warrant chiefs are these royal families that you have. So, but some of them were people also that the village selected as, okay, let this young man be the one that will be speaking representing us, between us and you. So they made that one warrant chief. And then from warrant chief, he become Eze. You know, from chief, we translated it to Eze. And then all of a sudden, Eze became, and Igwe became something that, you know, he now became something that is our ancestral heritage and things like that. We had, every kingdom is an ancient kingdom, I understand that. But affairs were in the hand of Nde Ezemo. That is why when you come to a certain village, you see about Okumo 5 shrines. The 5 or the 3 might be in the same place, but they are all shrines. And they are being manned by different people, not the same person. Not the same person. So that is why when they now come together, they will not deliberate on how to execute a particular instruction that was released from a particular shrine that will favor and benefit the people. And then they have this, in some places they have this Nze and also people, which of course have a leader among them that also represent the administrative system of the government. Then in other places they have Oha, where this Nze and also is not available. They have Ndoha and Oha. Oha is a group of elders that are being selected, and it's the way they select them from each kindred. At times some kindred produce 2, at times some kindred produce 1. So they are selected, and then some people who have Ofo, because villages have Ofo. So when these people gather together, they also make decisions based on the instruction that came from the shrine, or decisions based on what they are looking at that will benefit the community as a whole. We were organized before these people came. They introduced the warrant chiefs, now they impose the Ezes on us. And today now the Ezes which they impose on us as if without them nothing will happen. They are also making them now irrelevant. Because at the end of the day, the government, the new government they introduced, which is the direct government now, has taken over. You understand what I'm saying now? And the only thing they are doing now is that they have placed these Ezes on salary. You understand? So every system they created was to disorganize and to, scatter what we have already before they came. And that is why it is confusing to so many of you. When we start telling you that these things were not there before, these things were not there before, this is not how we used to be, you will be confused because this is what you came to meet. When you came, you met this. And you met it functioning. So when we are saying it was not there before, it will look as if we are lying or we are saying something that is not supposed to be said. But the point is that the truth has to be told. When it was working for us, most of these things were not in place. But today, now, they are in place. Then how do we marry this and the system that we had before? Our anger is not that these things have come to stay. Our anger is that these things are distracting. That is why there is corruption in Igbo land. That is why there is corruption in Igbo land. In Igbo land, if you commit a crime, you'll be sent out of the city. Nobody is going to send you out of any city. People will sit and eat what they are not supposed to eat. Nothing happens. If you come to a community, if you see 30 people, 28 of them are corrupt. The 2 that are not corrupt, even we are not sure. So that is why we are having this problem that we are having, because we have built a community based on the white man's culture, based on his education, based on his philosophy of life, based on the spirituality that they have brought to us. We have built a community that people have no longer conscience. The only thing they have, because it's the white man's ideology, the winner takes it all. It has to be a win-win situation for you. So people are, groomed and trained to be self-centered, selfish. It has become the order of the day for every spirit that guides everybody that wants to be successful. It has to be me. It's all about me. So it doesn't matter whether he kill you or cheat you or even destroy your life. He has to succeed. He has to survive. And we have brought it into our system. That is why you see people killing people, cutting people's head to make money, to be relevant, to make it alive. They just want to make it. All they want is just let people praise them. That is why they are doing what they are doing. So we have borrowed a system that is destroying us, and it will destroy us finally if we don't leave this system. That is why many of us are talking. We have to let everything that came with these people go. Let everything that came with them go. Everything they brought to us, we have to denounce it, deny it, and reject it. More especially their philosophy, which has a lot to do with this Christianity you people are defending. If you are offended by the way I tackle Christianity, I'm sorry. I'm sorry because you don't understand what we say. You don't even know, you don't even have knowledge of what we know and why we are speaking against this court that was brought to us from the West. Christianity is a court. Yes, I focus more time on Christianity and not Islam, not because I love Islam, no. I focus more time on Christianity because I understand it very well. And when I take my time and study Islam as well too, but all Abrahamic religion, they are the same. It's the same direction, the same purpose, the same influence, the same distraction that they have used them to create. It's just the same thing. So once you are talking about one, you're talking about all. There is none of them that is real. There is none of them that is more superior than the other. All of them came for a purpose, especially in Africa. We Africans have to be more African. We have to embrace who we are and what we are. It is very wrong for a man to tell you, I will keep wondering. When I say African telling me his faith, your faith in what? Your faith in something that you were introduced to, something that is not original with you, something that has nothing to do with you. You know, there are so many concepts of these religions that people don't understand. I've met somebody from 7 Days, and they showed me a book that was written by, I think, is it Alright Green or whatever, something like that. I'll try to remember the name. And there is this particular phrase. What the phrase was trying to say is that kind of that black people, that is dark people, that their destiny has already been defined according to that book, that they are going to go to hell. So that means it was from the so-called, in Christianity they believe that there is a spirit called Satan or devil. So they believe that they were part of the people that walked with Satan, or from Satan that they were created. Now, if this is the conclusion of the Christian faith, and you are an African person or a dark person, and you build and you bring out your money and build a church, that means you are stupid. Because there is no, if what they are saying is true, there is no amount of investment you will make in the Christian faith that will make you to go to that heaven. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why should I even bother myself? Because they have already condemned you for your color. And when you look at it, it's typical of them, because there's a scripture that says that they say, Esau I have hated, Jacob I have loved. He said, for the children not even being old, so that the purpose of the prophecy must be justified. So he hated Esau without a reason. There was no justification for that hate. But from beginning, Esau has been hated. Now they are trying to tell you that no matter what you do, no matter how you get involved, you are wasting your time. And that is what you people are doing. It's practically what you people are. Even though I know that everything about Christianity is fake and fiction. But what I'm saying is that if you read these things and you apply a little wisdom, you won't be wasting your time in any table in a church or sitting down and say you are listening to any preaching. What good has the preaching done for you? A woman came back from church the other day, I think about a few days ago or a few weeks ago, and stabbed her husband to death. And I believe that was what the spirit that followed her from the church. You understand? There is this man and his wife, they are all Christians as well too. They say, I think somewhere in around Onitsha, the man and his wife have used abacha and killed so many people. People will come and give them money, because they normally sell abacha. So those that come to their place to eat abacha, they will target a particular client that they have paid them for, and they will kill that client. And they say they've been doing this for 2 years. It's trading all over social media. So these are the things. And the funny thing is that most of these people are people that are in the church. These are people in the church. So the church has become a place of people hiding, especially bad people, those who hide and commit their evil. And because you people made it so, you made the church look so important. And then people will hide. And each time something bad happens, they say, hey, it's people that do ordinary, it's people that are inomenala. But go and check. Most of the evil men you have in the villages are those that sit at the front row of every church. I know a lot of people I know. I have close knowledge of. These people are selfish, greedy, and wicked, but they are members of churches, strong members, church builders. I'm telling you of today, I'm not talking about yesterday. They are ready to. There are so many of them, there are so many cases that are brought to me. People that have embezzled other people's money. I had to intervene, if not, hairs would have rolled. And all of them are Christians. Then why are you bringing your stupid problem to me? You understand? Why can't you go to your pastors? Why can't you go to your bishops? No, because they know that when they come, because of my position, that I'm going to say the truth and be just in whatever decision I'm going to, or judgment I'm going to pass, or conclusion I'm going to draw. Because they know they are in the system of the church, but they will deceive you that church is where there is life, church is where there is hope. But they themselves that are in that leadership will come to us seeking for the truth, seeking for solution, knowing fully well that there is no way there. They are only attracting you and bringing you in so that they will remain relevant in your life. But they know that there is no way in that from that place. So I think we have spent enough time, and I wouldn't want to engage you people more than I have. And moreover, I have appointments later, I think around 12. So it's now to 12. Let me get myself prepared and go out for the business of the day. Like I said, it has been a wonderful time. Each time I normally have time like this, I will come out so that we can talk, and that is why I don't normally come every day, because we have to also take care of the family. A man has got to do what he has to do to meet up with demands. Like I said, they have this monetary system that has caged everything and then brought everything to its needs. So if you need money to pay your bills. So once again, I want to thank you for being part of this, and I say the best you can do. The only way you can be grateful to what you've had today, if you love it, share it. At least it will encourage me and give me the impression that really you appreciate the message you've received today. Like I told you, we are the ones holding ourselves. These people are using us against us. And we need to work. We must work. We must work. We must work. So once again, I want to say, like I said before, it has been wonderful. So let me still leave you with my wonderful song, Mama Nubo. We call this Oja. Oja is a way of speaking to the spirit that is both the ones that are outside and the one that is inside you. It lifts up your spirit. It charges your spirit. It's a language that is being understood in the spiritual realm. It is very powerful when it comes to telepathic things. So I'll leave you with this. Enjoy the music.